Hi, and thanks for logging on to the Daily DVAR Halacha. And here's a brand new halacha for you, and it's for Monday, 6th day of December, 2nd day of Teves. And that is the last day of Chanukah. So what I wanted to do is discuss with you really quickly about the special nature of this day. You know, on the first 7 days of Chanukah, we've been reading one of the karbanos, the offerings that the Nesiim brought when they were dedicating the new Beis Hamikdash, and they brought one karban each day. And we read number 1 on the first day of Hanukkah, number 2 on the second, etc. When we get to 8th day, we have a few more to go, so we read 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. We read all of those on the last day of Hanukkah. And the finale there, if you follow the laning, has in it the words Zos Chanukahs HaMizbeach. This is the dedication, this is the Chanukah of the Mizbeach. Okay, hence, mostly in the Hasidic world, this last day of Chanukah is referred to as Zos Chanukah, because we read in our Torah reading on the last day, Zos Chanukahs HaMizbeach. So they call it Zos Chanukah. And there are many, many beautiful things said about this day. I'll just give you some examples of them. There are some Hasidim who have the custom to say things like Gemar Chasima Tova. That we said at the end of the Yamim Naraim, the days of Av. Well, some of them say it all the way until the end of Hanukkah. I'm not saying that you have to say that or have to regret not having done it, but you see they extend that holy, holy feeling all the way until the end of Hanukkah, and they attribute great, great things to this last day of Hanukkah. The Maral, I'll tell you some beautiful things that he says. He says that when the Kohen Gadol went into the Kodesh Kadosh, the Holy of Holies, on Yom Kippur, we say of that, Bezos Yavo Aaron El HaKodesh. With this, Aaron comes into the holy. Now that word Zos shows up there again, and the Maral says it alludes to the words Zos Brisi. This is my covenant with the Jewish people, referring to the mitzvah of bris. So he says, and this is a common theme throughout the Maral, that 7 is the number that represents Teva, or nature. You know, we have 7 days in a week. 8 is the number that rises above Teva. So, and bris milah is something that's done on the 8th day. Note that. So it is already related to that above Teva, higher than nature kind of activity. Having a bris is viewed in that way also. So with that status of going higher than nature, that's what allows the Kohen Gadol to be able to go into the Beis Hamikdash, into the Holy of Holies on Yom Kippur. Now, there you see the word Zos, right? Now, in Hanukkah also, the Yavanim were known to be very much ones of nature. They worship the powers of the sun and the moon. They were very into their body and gymnastics and Teva and nature in general. And we, the Jewish people, managed to rise above the natural inclination of the Yavanim, of the Greek, and that's represented by the number 8. Again, like the Maral always says, 8 is Lamala Minateva, 8 is higher than nature, and 7 is the number that represents the natural course of a week. Well, so the 8th day of Hanukkah is Zos Hanukkah. That's the supernatural, spiritual level of the Jew that helps him rise above all the enemies, like the Greeks, who are more steeped in this worldly way, and we are otherworldly, and we're supernatural in that regard, and we are above nature. There again you see why the Hasidim attribute such beauty to the 8th, get it, number 8, the 8th day of Hanukkah. The Ger Rebbe, I'll just close with this, he said that it's a little bit like an Isru Chag. You know, at the end of a holiday, we are bound up with God for one more day, and that's sort of the activity of the 8th day of Hanukkah. None of us love to see this beautiful holiday leave us, and the 8th day is when we cling to it, the way at the end of the 7, in Israel, there's 7 days of Sukkot, right? And then the 8th, Shmini Atzeres, is this day that we cling with God just a little bit longer. That's what Zos Hanukkah is. That's a little bit what the 8th day of Hanukkah is like. So I've given you just a quick taste of the beauty you should see Hasidim have tishes, and they burn their wicks, and they make big fires out of it and everything. Very, very special. And you'll see this mostly in the Hasidic world. So now you know, and you have a small education on Zos Chanukah, the special name given to the eighth day of Chanukah. Thanks for logging on. Log on again tomorrow for more. Bye bye.